focus. Let's go, KD. Take a look around you, you can find your way, babe. Your way, babe. Yeah, take a look around you, you can find your way, babe. Yeah, I talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change your way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Hey, you the one that say that. You and me go way back. When this whole thing over, I'ma send my invoice payday. You don't wanna say that. You don't want this payback. I keep my composure, this my kingdom, nigga, stay back. We had a couple of moments. You had a choice, nigga, own it. Your real colors, they showing. I'm real, nigga, I'm focused. When I come around, I'm fly with it. Stay moving, Dubai with it. New sound, just vibe with it. Same truth and we die with it. I see it like it's an optical. I never sit on the fence. Nothing to me is impossible. Music of me to the end. Most of the shit is illogical. All the young niggas depend on what they pretend. Just think what you had. Stop looking at trends. You wearing your eyes like it's topical.
Clearly now, the pain is gone, the fame is on, and they play my song. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, I ain't talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change your way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. New era, I got y'all. Real game, we pop off, no knockoffs. Open eyes, we watch out. Mobilize, won't cop out. COVID-19 cops out, don't flop now. Open skies, we fly now. New agenda, they try now. Most y'all getting real scared of the headlines we find out. End game getting real near. If you don't know, you behind now. Behind the times, government hide behind the lines. Most brands trying to monetize. All of us have to stay inside, don't socialize. Talk is talk, and move is move. When I come in, bitch, I change your way. Got things to do, I done pay my dues. But where was you? Nigga, where was you? I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. I said take a look around you, nigga, find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Find your way, babe. Yeah, let's go, let's go.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock's crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I gift rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like
good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
yeah, hey, look what I got.
New whip with no top. Cooking up no stove top. Ice cold, no snow drop. Big budget ass, big facts. Big money in the contract. Been running no contact. New record with the new tracks. Yeah, they been sending me new plaques. I don't really need new plaques. Nah, big rock with the suplex. Yeah, new rock got a new flex. Yeah, I'm current, I'm a new trend. Knock boys with the full scent. Yeah, like I said, no new friends. We don't really need new friends.
Good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense. That good thing, yeah, I found that. Young king with my crown at. 10 racks in the fanny pack. Couple hundred in the Louis bag. Couple hundred need a G-Wagon. Big tax on my big spending. Big facts, no pretending. We back on the full sense.
Yeah. Ay. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing. The king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them. A press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon. The demon, the session, we killing the pack. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing. The king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them. A press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon. The demon, the session, we killing the pack. We slaying witches and demons, making a list like I'm Steven. This ain't the Garden of Eden. Playing this game, it's not even. I come with soldiers and legions. That is my name that you speaking. All of y'all live for the weekend. I don't know what you believe in. Y'all got the diamonds and I got the rubies. She rocking the 2-piece and look like a snack. Stay out of trouble, but I got a new scheme. I'm sipping on wine while they sipping on that. I done told y'all if I see it, I cop it. You see what we rockin', we drippin' all black. You being off, you seen this deposit. We brought a few bags and there's more in the back. I got riches storing up in heaven. I'm a big gorilla, I got ape aggression. Young and jaded like an adolescent. I'm slightly faded like an evanescent. Brand new villa up on the East Coast. You better come through because we stay progressing. If you roll with us, you better unpack before God teaches you an eternal lesson. Roll with me, you're gonna learn something. Roll with me, you're gonna earn some. We in the forest like we Fern Gully. If it's feeling off, I discern some. Clean hearts, but we stay muddy. Too smart, but we stay study. Staying face, cause we too ugly. All these jokers think they too funny. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing. The king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them. A press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon. The demon, the session, we killing the pack. We go from humble to flexing. You DM, I'm texting. She hit me right back. I'm on the move, I'm not stressing. The king to these peasants, you know that's a fact. Y'all hate the press, y'all elect them. A press for 11, I gave him a stack. I use these words as my weapon. The demon, the session, we killing the pack. Money, new bands, new hundreds, new friends, new money, new bands, new hundreds.
Yo, Kyle, this shit crazy.
Friends, whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kinda new hundreds, hell not to new friends, whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kinda new hundreds, hell not to new friends, whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kinda new hundreds. Hell not of new friends, whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kind of new hundreds. Hell not of new friends. My day ones know I post up, so just come through. If you say nothing, you glow up, she can come too. Can't say nothing when he choked up, so just cut him loose. We stay calm when we froze up, that's what
Diamonds do.
yeah, new island, stay coast ghosting. Can't find us, they ghosting. My silence is smoking. Outshining the ghosting. Headlining the show then. Reclining my throne and fine dining, you know it. Deep diving that whoa. I'm the ruler, I'm known. All of my shooters stay closed. All of my jewelry cold. All of my Ubers are dope. Lex Luthor, my role model. One queen and I throw models. So wet that I need goggles. All business and no drama. Cause all I really need is people commas. And all these peasants is sons. Cause all you niggas dogs no colors. So don't apologize, why? You see them still, nigga, just hustle. Cause I'm the real nigga, just hustle. You just hustle. Waiting for my downfall, waiting for my downfall. Hell nah, the new friends, they praying for my downfall. Hell nah, the new friends. Said hell nah, the new friends. Whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kinda new hundreds. Hell nah to new friends. Whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kinda new hundreds. Hell nah to new friends. Whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kinda new hundreds. Hell nah to new friends. Whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bands, all kinda new hundreds. Said what you want, let me know, I'ma throw you bone, then watch you go. You didn't even believe in this shit, you tried it once and then you choke. Cause y'all stay sleeping, I stay woke. Making racks and y'all still broke. Sipping on that Henny Coke, y'all laughing, I ain't telling jokes. That's real talk and that time that's ticking, that's real clock. You heard that clipping, that's real Glock. Your life is slipping, that's real shock. My wrist is dripping, that's real watch. My crew stay whipping, that's real mock. My clothes stay dripping, that's real swatch. If you ain't gonna dip, you can still watch, that's real talk, my nigga, Like Afro Man wrote a Coupe de Ville, my nigga, Like Sam Crow, but I'm real grim, my nigga, All this cash flow, but I can't swim, my nigga, Out in Buffalo, let's meet at 10s, my nigga, lot of new bets, all kind of new hundreds, hell not a new friends. Whole lot of new money, whole lot of new bets, all kind of new hundreds, hell not a new friends. Praying for my downfall, waiting for my downfall. Hell not a new friends, they praying for my downfall. Hell not a new friends. Said hell not a new friends. Man, it's too early in the morning for this shit. But let's get it. Yeah. Ayy, all of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, open nuts on they chin. Like Everson K2 get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green. I'm dropping slappers to hell with an album. Might fuck around and go see Jimmy Fallon. I multiply while you bury your talents. Cause I'm like a hawk when I bury my talents. Guess what I'm saying? I pray on these niggas. There was a day when I'd pray for these niggas. Now I got nothing to say to these niggas. I pray that God does away with these niggas. I keep my friends close, but my enemies closer. My mental is gross, but my verses are kosher. These girls going wild, but I'm not a poacher, so I just keep shining like Elon, I'm solar. All of y'all talking, but I just went. Papa Swole, open nuts on they chin. Like Everson K2 get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My bennies are blue, but the product is green. Gotta make this money money, only game I know. I'm the only king, this ain't no Game of Thrones. Everybody wanna be a fucking king until it's time to do what a king does. Everywhere I look, it's just kids and drugs. Everywhere I look, it's just gangs and thugs. Can't tame the guns, can't save our loved ones. I grew my funds and I called the plug. Then I filled my lungs, I don't mess with that new shit. Y'all talking tough, but ain't none of y'all do shit. Y'all chasing money, you want the exposure. Y'all think y'all funny and snake Gucci loafers. I don't give disclaimers, I rap full disclosure. These niggas all think they were born in October. The only thing different between you and I is that I also have stacks on plus stacks when I'm older. Stacks when I'm older. Yeah, stacks when I'm older. The only thing different between you and I is that I also have millions in cash when I'm older. All of y'all talking, but I just win. Papa Swole, put nuts on their chin. Like Everson K2 get mounds of cash. Looked in the crowd, saw my name on the ass. You made them bands, now your money is spent. I stash away about 40%. Empire with honey like I'm Gary V. My Bennies are blue, but the product is green.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Swole Norma.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing, testing, testing. Test, 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 testing, testing, testicles, testing, testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 3258 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular soulcast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, busses, hustles, and yahos? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. In today's episode, the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everston K2 flexing on all you fam. Welcome to the show. 3258. Happy Monday. It's April the 7th. We have an Accountability Monday today. We got brand new releases. We got awesome Swole fan posts. Of course, we'll take some questions. Before we do, make sure you take a moment and hit the like button if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube at The Daily Swole. And of course, if you listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, take a moment and leave a 5-star review. If you enjoy the show, it helps tremendously. Share with your friends. Thanks for being here. Welcome everyone on the live. Let's get into today's episode. We got some awesome posts. The accountability text went out. It was successful. And let's get into some of those responses. Babe, just an inch. It's cold outside. All right. I sent out a text to members and I asked, what is the number one thing you are struggling with your 7 pillars? Explain the issue and what you are planning to do about it. Now, if you don't know what the 7 pillars are, you can head on over to swolenormousx.com and download your free copy. The 7 pillars, just to summarize, is the foundation. It's the foundation that all members of the Swole fam follow. Now, of course, your life is going to be different than the next members, but these are the 7 verticals that you should be focusing on in fine-tuning and adjusting and getting that 1% better every day. So let's get into some of these responses. Aaron says, the number one thing for me is making time for mindfulness. I haven't been paying enough attention to it except during my yoga practices. To combat this, I'll be setting reminders in the Swolenormous app to perform my brain gains all this week. Good stuff. Now, of course, your mindfulness practice can be exactly like Aaron said. You could obviously do it and be in the present moment. Another way you could do this throughout the day is to put your phone in airplane mode or leave it in the other room and don't have that pacifier carrying around, taking your attention every 2 seconds, so you could be more in the present moment. And as you practice more mindfulness, you can translate that into more aspects of your day. So it doesn't necessarily, being mindful and being present doesn't have to have a 5-minute brain gain session attached to it. But if you practice 5 minutes of brain gains more often, guess what? You are going to build that habit and you are going to be able to tap into that more often. Alex says, I'd say my community for sure, because I'm in a situation where it isn't currently in my control and it's somewhat suboptimal. Since I live with my family and my only real community outside of that is my karate class, which I enjoy, but mostly consists of older people or adolescents. Besides that, I don't really have any friends or acquaintances that I interact with regularly. So I've mentioned some of the peer pressure from my family with stupid, nonsensical shit related to diet like, quote, the 1 bite rule or moderation. But I've got it almost entirely under control. I've started to pay attention to my body and eliminate just about everything and anything that irritates me, recently realizing how badly grain-based foods such as baked goods, even those without shit like seed oils or high fructose corn syrup, and pasta screw me up. I don't think I've had anything with seed oils in a couple of weeks, and I've gone to just about every length to make sure of it. With that revelation about pasteurized milk, I'm cutting it out as well. Hopefully I can start getting my hands on the real raw stuff, but unfortunately, I have no knowledge of a bull milk supplier. Oh, I got you. We'll get you that bull milk. We'll get you that bull milk straight from the source. As a result of all this, I've decided to make a massive commitment to myself over the next year. Yeah, it's not January 1st. It's now or never. Fuck your resolutions. To become successful in every aspect of life, which requires some massive shifts in my lifestyle. I need that push to hit the gym as hard as possible, stack cash, and make all sorts of meaningful connections. The only way forward for me is to take massive action, and it starts right here, right now. That's what I'm talking about. Well, Alex, you're a part of the Swole fam, so you definitely have your community here with us. We do understand that sometimes you don't have people yet in your immediate physical vicinity that are on the same page. But remember, when you follow your path and you're focusing on self-improvement and you're working on yourself, community will oftentimes get narrowed down. It's going to get narrowed down. You're going to be, quote, lonely or alone, but it doesn't mean that you're going to be lonely. All right. So if you surround yourself with positive things going in your eye holes and ear holes, you know what you're doing, you understand why you're doing it, you have purpose for the actions that you're taking, this is just your growth phase. And you're not going to be able to grow if you are allowing everyone and everything to vie for your attention and you're giving it away. You need to guard your time very, very closely. And it's very important that you keep your head down and focus on what you're currently doing. You're doing great. And your community is not necessarily going to be small, but it's going to be filtered and it's going to be focused on what you want to see reflected to you. And when you improve yourself and you're focusing on yourself and you're focusing on your individual development, you are going to want to see that kind of inspiration. You're going to want to see those actions reflected in people that you spend time with. So you start filtering out that community with a more of a fine filter. And that's very common and that's actually essential. And then just like the elimination diet, you learn to maintain that and keep only the things in your environment that are benefiting you. So good for you. Keep it up. I love the response and I appreciate the time you took to write it. Diana says sleeping, going to turn off the phone an hour before bedtime, keep the same sleeping schedule through the week, exercising consistently so I get physically tired, and magnesium. All right, good for you, Diana. Good for you. F rank. Short answer, nutrition is the struggle. I have trouble eating enough. Quality food is a priority, but will be comprised to meet 1 gram of protein per pound of mass. My solution, meat juice. Oh, sorry. 150 grams of chicken, 2 tomatoes / veggies, plus blender equals protein smoothie. Oh, God. Why, bro? Why? Oh, my God. Why? I hear, like, was it the Nancy Kerrigan or Tanya Harding, which, like, why? When she got hit. It was like in the 90s, right? When she got her kneecaps busted in or something. Why? What the actual fuck, dude? What? That just threw me off. I didn't expect that. Well, that's a big vegetable smoothie right there. Why is that your solution? I don't support this. I'm not a fan. That sounds disgusting. You don't need to blend it to get your protein in, man. You have trouble eating enough. You just have to prioritize sitting down and eating the food. Just eat the food. Where's the steak, dude? Why so much chicken? Where's the meat? Where's the meat? Trust me, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine eating the food. Have some more meals more often. Focus on the protein. You'll be totally good. You don't have to ruin your life by blending your chicken and fucking tomatoes. God damn it. If you're watching live, we can have a conversation about that later. So I'll read that and move on. To each their own, but my goodness. My goodness. Mike, nutrition. My life is chaotic professionally, personally, and financially at the moment, and it's easy to lose focus in the FUAS? Is that a word? I don't know how to pronounce that. I haven't seen that. Is that a word? Or is that a typo? In the chaos? Was that like easy to lose focus in the chaos? Was that a typo? Anyway, this week I write out my diet plan, and meals to have a reference point should help. Yes, if you are not prepared, there's nothing to execute on. I'll repeat that. If you're not prepared and you don't have a plan, how are you going to execute it? If you go into the gym and you're like, I don't know what to do, I'm just going to do some stuff and feel tired and move some things around. Guess what? You're going to get tired and you're going to move a lot of things around. But you're not going to get any appreciable results because you're doing random shit. You're doing random shit. So there you go. Don't do random shit. Plan in advance. Jay Cheatham, you mentioned a while back warm-ups for lifting are coming to the app. Still the plan? We have warm-ups. Check out the Swollen 7 section. Check out the Swollen 7 mobility section. Yeah, when it comes to preparation, it's not really warming up. It's preparing for your workouts. So you can do a mobility set. You can do a Swollen 7 mobility. You can swing your clubs a little bit. The preparation sets are really what's important, especially for maximum swole. So whatever preparation you do for your training is whatever you do for your training. So there's a lot of information in the app already. Not sure exactly what specifically you're referring to. If it's a masterclass you're waiting for or some specific question you need answered, just drop in the comments. I'm happy to answer it for you. I forget the context as to what you were asking for or what you're asking about. John says, get all the garbage out of your house. You shall not pass. Cravings for bullshit occur at home. Late at night, go to sleep. I agree. And if you're eating nutrient-dense food and you're getting in your protein and you are getting to sleep at a good time, you're getting early morning sun, all that stuff, guess what? You are not going to have those cravings. Again, you might want something, or if you were pulling away from some of these addictions, guess what? You are going to have those withdrawal symptoms. So what do people grab, or what do people look for when they have that withdrawal? They're going to look for their drug. And if you don't have that in the house, then, well, it is what it is. Now, of course, if you go on DoorDash and you order some McDonald's or something like that, there's really nothing. You have to get these things off your app. You have to remove anything that is in your path that is holding you back. Remove the habits, remove the routines, remove any of these things. Find those triggers, sit there and meditate, practice some brain games, and focus on what these triggers are and what these source issues are that lead you down these paths, and then avoid them. And then prepare and make other habits and other routines that are going to supersede those and keep you from those types of choices. John says, I see countless people at the gym aimlessly walking around, wondering what machine to do next. Zero intent, no purpose or plan. It also takes you longer too. So you spend more time in the gym and you get less accomplished. Remember, the gym is short-term effort for long-term gratification. So you're not building muscle in one session. So it's very, 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 very important that what you do is specifically progressive and it's tactical and it's done with intent. That way you can build on it the next session and the session after and the session after and the session after. Okay, let's get into some questions. If you have live questions or topics, you can follow up and drop in the comments down below. We will also load up other stream for more questions. Drop in the comments. We'll load up maybe TikTok for some questions. We'll see what pops through. Drop in the comments down below. We'll take one from Instagram stories first, and then of course we'll get into some videos and we'll get into some new releases. We got some great stuff inside the Swolenormous app. Let's see. Swim, bike, run. It's spelled rune, so maybe that's a play on words, but it is what it is. How much cardio do you do? Well, I definitely walk around my property a lot. I take Rufus on long walks. I do some sled work in clubs and I go in the sauna. So I don't do necessarily tons of like focused, high intensity cardio. I go through phases and sometimes I work that in. Sometimes I'm not as much. It depends. If it's in the summer in Florida and it's hot as hell, usually I'll maybe adjust when I train or when I'm lifting weights because I lift outside for the most part. So it really depends on what I'm doing for my training that day, but I am not doing, let's say, high intensity interval cardio. I'm lifting, training for hypertrophy, and then I'm just being physically active in the garden. I'm walking around, moving a lot. So getting your steps in, walking is fantastic for your health. Doing high intensity cardio, there's a lot of different things. You could do hill sprints, you could do plyometrics, you can do you could do steppers, you could use VersaClimber, you can use your sled, you can do all sorts of things like that. You could do kettlebell swings for high reps and get cardio in. Like I said, sauna before. So cardio varies. I know you're asking specifically what I do, but my main point for all of you to interpolate and to take this into your own programming is to make sure that what it's doing, it's aiding your progress. And if your goal is to build muscle, you want to make sure that the cardio that you're doing, the exhaustion or the fatigue from that, that you're not holding yourself back from progress. So it's very important. A lot of people do tons and tons and tons of cardio because they think that's the actual, what they should be doing to build muscle and to lose fat. And it's not the case. It's great for your health. It's great for your cardiovascular system, which is why it's called cardio. But you want to make sure that it's not taking away from your recovery and not fatiguing you unnecessarily for your lifting. All right, more questions. Let's see. Menton DGAF. Menton, don't give a fuck. Papa Sully, how do I discipline myself to go to the fucking gym? By setting a plan and executing on it. You build those habits and that's your discipline. You're doing it because it's time to do it, regardless of how you feel. You prepare for it and you do it by understanding your purpose also. And if you understand how important it is to train and to take care of yourself, that's a huge part of what we do here in the Swole fam. That's what we do here on the podcast. And inside the Swolenormous app and Swolenormous X is understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And if you understand why you're doing what you're doing, and obviously it's logical, it's backed by evidence, it's backed by like thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of everyone's experience inside Swolenormous X. If you are taking care of yourself and you know why you're doing it, and you're making choices based on understanding and purpose, then it's not really discipline. It's just making the proper choice and executing on it. Oh, what's today's Swole card? Did I not say that? Today's Swole card is a fucking standard Swole fam. I thought I mentioned that earlier. Thank you for the chat. Hashtag Swole fam for a chance to win today's Swole card on Rumble. Drop in the comments. Excellent. Okay, Jens Matzer, Papa Swolio, any advice for people doing another sport like climbing and wanting to get swole? Whatever you prioritize is what you're going to get the most out of. You're climbing, rock climbing and lifting heavy weights and getting swole is probably counterintuitive because the more mass you have, the harder it is to climb rocks and stuff like that. So Not that it's a bad combination, but just keep that in mind. It'll make it more challenging if you're trying to get really, really big. There's a reason why all these top climbers are very skinny and wiry, a lot of mobility. Obviously, they're practicing climbing a lot. So I'm assuming, I don't know if you're doing indoor climbing, you're doing outdoor, and what type. There's different kinds, of course. But my advice is prioritize what you want the most out of. So understand, if you are splitting your attention, if you're splitting your attention with anything, you're going to get marginal results with either of those things. So if you're trying to excel at climbing and also get swole, you're just pulling your attention in different directions. So the climbing is going to fatigue you for building muscle, and lifting heavy weights may or may not and likely will fatigue you from climbing. But if you're just doing it for enjoyment, then do it for enjoyment. But it really depends on what your priorities are. So my advice, I mean, that's just a general advice because it's a general question, but just understand that if you're trying to get better at thing A, focus on thing A. If you're trying to get good at thing A, thing B, thing C, thing D, thing E, thing F, thing G, guess what? You're splitting your attention and you're going to get marginally better at all of them, and or probably worse or not as good at some of them because you have to prioritize. Pam says they need to listen to Saturday's podcast. I agree. Don't forget, over the weekend, if we're not doing the live stream show like this, there's Swolosophy on the weekend. So the weekend episodes, don't miss out on those. They're going to give you context as to all the content we talk about during the week, and a lot of good information. Yeah, Saturday's podcast was great. So go check it out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Storm Machine, is muscle growth stimulus signal from mechanical tension mostly, or is it the micro tears in the muscles? It's the mechanical tension. Not the micro tear myth. So the muscles don't tear. You get stretching of the spindles and different things. There's different reasons why you might feel sore. And, from stretch, when you're new lifting, when your muscles have never experienced stretch under tension, so you're originally sore from that full range of motion. But over time, and more experienced lifters, you're not getting the same type of signaling from the stretch. So that's more for newer lifters and specific muscles like the calves, where they respond to stretch mediated hypertrophy. Now, a lot of muscles might have more leverage or will benefit from a stretch position. But for example, mechanical tension, progressive overload, adding reps or adding weight or both is very important. So having certain machines and loading the muscles more oftentimes in the lengthened position is a better idea. Not every muscle requires that. It really depends on what movement you're doing, the machine you have access to. So this is why doing, let's say, shoulders like lateral raises, doing it with a cable, where the cable starts, where the tension's greatest, at the stretch position at the bottom or at the shortened position at the top. If you're doing dumbbells, it's going to be at the top and not so much at the bottom. So it really depends on the exercise and being consistent with that movement and then progressively overloading that movement. So it's good to change it a little bit. It's good to change and to target the muscles from lengthened position, shortened position, like a seated leg curl versus a prone leg curl. But both are good. So it doesn't mean that if you don't have access to a seated leg curl that you're not going to get results if you only have a prone leg curl, which is on your stomach, if you don't know what prone is. Anyone listening? All right. Let's see. Nomad Storm Rider. Papa Solio, how many hours a day do you train? I don't train. I don't lift heavy weights every single day. I'll do it probably 4 to 5 times a week, depending on the split and depending on if I take an extra recovery day. So usually about 4 days a week. If it's every other day or two on and 1 off, it usually comes down to about 4 days a week or so. Yeah, 4 days, not 5. And my workouts will range anywhere between an hour and 2 hours, usually because of longer rest periods, and I take my time. I'm not in a rush, so I'm not lifting nonstop. If I'm out there and sometimes, because of my gym, sometimes I have stuff on other sides of the house, or I'll have to set up a piece of equipment, so it might take me a little bit longer, so it depends. If you're at a official commercial gym and you have all these things set up, my home gym machines are close together, so I have to walk through them and sometimes load them differently. So it might take me a little bit more time than if I had a 20,000 square foot open space and everything was kind of ready to go all the time. So I don't really factor that stuff in. So in terms of, okay, I'm starting, I'm going to warm up and prepare and then execute, probably about an hour and a half. Sometimes shorter. If I'm doing full body, it might be that or slightly longer. But again, I might be doing 2 to 3 preparation sets and then an all-out set. And usually before that all-out set, I'm resting a few minutes. So longer rest periods, but I'm not doing a ton of volume. So even though I might say an hour to 2 hours, that does not mean, oh my God, that's a long time to train. I'm not lifting heavy and doing a ton of volume. That's not what I'm doing. It's longer rest periods. I'm recovering for those all-out sets, which is very important. I'm not doing 30 seconds. I'm not lifting for cardio. So you want to make sure that you're doing your preparation and then recovering completely before your all-out working set or sets. So you have to factor that in. People always ask how long, but the length doesn't matter. The length doesn't matter. What matters is what you're doing with that time. And if you're resting sufficiently between your full-out, high-intense working sets, then it's going to take you longer by default because you should be resting. You should be recovering before that set. Intensity is extremely important. And you can't train at full intensity if you are not fully recovered. The name is Diraj. Papa Swolio, I can't see legs. I can't see results on my legs. What to do? I can't tell you. I don't know. You could not be training your legs. You're likely not training your legs properly and not eating properly and X, Y, and Z. I can't tell you why you're not seeing results on your legs. So maybe show up for a live stream or send us an email or something and go into more depth with your concern, because legs are going to be like any other muscle group. You need to train them hard. You need to train them frequently, and you need to train them with progressive overload. So depending on your split, depending on what materials and equipment you have access to, you need to make sure you're choosing proper exercises with proper form, and you're consistent. It's going to take you years. You're not going to build big legs in a couple months. So it's really important. Paul Alcock, good name. Can you lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, or is it a one thing at a time? Sure, you're always gaining or losing muscle. You're never maintaining. So this idea that you're maintaining, I'm going to maintain my gain, it doesn't exist. You're always in flux. Your body's always adding, your bone density is always in flux. Your muscles are always in flux. Either you're atrophying or either you're anabolic or you're catabolic. Either you're breaking down muscle or you're building muscle. There's no keep it stable. I'm just going to stay the same. There's none of that. Either you're building, either there's a growth stimulus or there's an atrophy stimulus or a lack thereof, right? So either you're providing your body with a frequent stimulus to demand growth, and you're providing with the proper nutrients and recovery and progression, or you're not. So yes, you can. Oftentimes that's more popular or more evident in people that are new or have a lot of fat to lose. But yeah, you're always gaining and losing fat, and you're always building and losing muscle always, which is why the growth stimulus and the frequency is very important, because after, like 48, 72 hours, you're losing muscle. So it's very important that you are providing that stimulus again every 48 to 72 hours. This is why upper, lower, and full body are really goated splits, because you're getting more frequency and you're providing that growth stimulus more often. You make more progress. Space Shuttle. Papa Swolio, leg day suggestions for someone with degenerative disc disease. Do whatever exercise feels good for you. I don't have suggestions. It really depends on what you can or can't do. Why don't you tell me what bothers you? And then maybe I can give you some suggestions. Maybe Bulgarian split squats with a dumbbell, Smith machine split squats, or squats if that doesn't bother you. If it does, you could do Bulgarians with dumbbells. You can do leg press if that bothers you. You could do single leg press if that bothers you. You could do leg extensions. Leg extensions are great for the quads. You could do leg extensions, adductor, and curls. Shouldn't bother your back at all, and you'll hit all muscles of the legs. So let me know what bothers you, and then maybe I can give you some other suggestions. Because I know I know what you're saying with degenerative disc, but everyone's going to have their own limitations or something. Oh, this really bothers me. So if you tell me that, then I can just. It's pretty much anything that you can do for your legs that doesn't bother you. Even if you don't have degenerative disc disease, there might be certain movements that you don't prefer that feel less comfortable than than other things. So everyone's going to, based on their body type and based on your body type in terms of, you know, your joint length and just what feels right for you based on your experience in your body. There's that. And then, of course, what equipment you have access to and what your goals are. And then that's going to factor in, because you might say, hey, what should I do? And I give you all these things. You're like, well, I don't have access to that. So it's like, what's the point of me saying it then? So what do you have access to? What bothers you? And drop that in the comments. All right, Storm. Papa Swole, I have a hip impingement and a hip flexor tear, and after a year of heavy strengthening and mobility, I have less pain, and doctor says I don't need surgery now. Oh, not a question. That's awesome. Good for you.
He's on fire!
That's great stuff. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, surgery should be the last resort. And don't forget, if you go to a doctor or an orthopedist, and I'm not saying this is across the board, but overwhelmingly when you go to any kind of practitioner like that, you know, they have a scalpel in their hand. They're ready to cut. You know, so if you go to if you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. If all you have is a hammer, you want to hammer everything. So I'm not saying this across the board, but a lot of surgeons, what they do, you go to a surgeon to get an assessment, a lot of times they're going to recommend surgery. And that really should be cutting into your body, cutting things out, replacing things. Like that should always be the last resort. And modern medicine can be amazing in certain instances, but the tendency to just want to go in and just chop shit out or replace joints and, oh, you have a hip flexor this, and let's go in there and scrape this off. A lot of times there are more side effects or issues afterwards, depending on the situation. So you have to understand how many people have repetitive movements. They're sitting down all the time. They're doing the same thing over and over again. This is why strength training is so important, because you can target all the different joint movements. You can target hip extension and the hip hinge and strong glutes and a strong back and strong hamstrings and adductors. You strengthen the inner thighs. You strengthen the abductors, the gluteus medius. You strengthen the hip flexors. You don't want weak hip flexors either. You're practicing yoga and mobility and Jefferson curls and all these different end range of motions. You are strengthening these muscles in all different directions. They are going to be stronger, more stable, and more aligned. Less friction, less inflammation. And a lot of times, even people that were on the brink of knee surgery doing just reverse sled can overcome all the weakness and imbalance, and doctors were ready to go in and cut that shit open. And people just do mobility training, and boom, they start feeling less pain. They feel better, and you can avoid that kind of intervention, which is really important. And of course, that's always on the table. I mean, you could always do that later, but why jump to that first? A lot of people jump to the surgery or they jump to the pills and they do that right away. Address it properly, because sometimes those things don't work out and then you have to go and get multiple surgeries. There's so many stories of people that go in, they start cutting around, especially back surgeries and stuff like that. They go in and end up getting 3, 4, 5, 6. It gets worse and worse, because then you get more scar tissue. And once you start going in there fucking around with what nature gave you, all bets are off. Hopefully it gets better, but a lot of times there's other issues too. So don't underestimate proper nutrition, proper lifestyle habits, and exercise. A lot of times people's injuries came from those poor habits, right? So if you're in your 40s or 50s, you have 40 or 50 years of poor habits, not really paying attention to exercise. Maybe you're doing physical activity, but you're not eating right. You have all these different things. Well, what if you stop that momentum and you start taking care of yourself? Sometimes you can undo, or you can rewind some of the issues that you currently have. And this is what I was saying, I mean, all the time, but especially over the past week or so, people say that it's never too late to start. Well, I mean, yes and no. The phrase is there to encourage and to inspire people that should have started years and years and years ago. It's never too late to start. True. But it's going to be too late to get optimal results. It's going to be too late to reverse or undo a lot of these issues. So in other words, the sooner the better. I mean, if you're playing around the idea, well, it's never too late to start. Well, yeah, It's going to be. Start today. But just understand that you can only do so much. So the sooner you start, the better. That's my point. The sooner you start, the better. Atib Irshad, Papa Swole, tips to lose weight. Join the Swole fam, swolenormousx.com. Do the elimination diet. Learn about cutting out inflammatory foods and customizing your nutrition. That's the best place to start. What's going in your face hole and what you're surrounding yourself with. Those are my tips. That's a very vague question. Okay. John, Papa Swole, I had a tweak in my right shoulder. Heavy shoulder press eliminated it. Huh. How did that happen? Seems counterintuitive. Heavy lifts would seem to make it worse. That's not necessarily the case. I mean, heavy lifting, it depends on what was wrong with it. You had a tweak. You don't really know what the tweak was, though. So a tweak in your shoulder, there's a lot of stuff going on in the shoulder. There's a lot of things that it could be. It could have been a biceps tendon. Could have been, who knows? I don't know what that tweak means. Could have just been a muscle, like you were doing other stuff, or you slept on it wrong and you had a little bit of like and then it just went away. So maybe there was no issue. So the three movements or the three most important things to focus on with your shoulders is, in terms of exercise, you want to do something for your posterior deltoid. You want to do something for your middle deltoid. You want to do something for your anterior deltoid. And one of the best things for their anterior deltoid is a shoulder press. So you do a shoulder press with your arms a little bit more to the front, so you're getting more shoulder flexion. You could do more out to the side, pick something, preference, but you want to make sure you're getting shoulder flexion. And whether you're doing a cable or a dumbbell for lateral raises, you can mix that up in the reverse pec deck or with dumbbells or a T-bar row, like an upper back row will hit the posterior deltoid. So the shoulders are very simple, not complicated. And again, it's progressive overload. So I can't tell you exactly what's going on with your shoulder, but that's great. Building strength is going to help people. And I think where that gets mixed up is that, well, when people lift heavy, they end up getting hurt. Well, most people aren't eating properly. Most people don't have good form. Most people aren't programming properly. Most people aren't managing their fatigue properly. Most people, right? Most people don't. Most people just go and they lift hard and they're like, oh, this hurts. And then when I go heavier, it hurts more. Well, lifting heavy does not increase your risk for injury if you're doing it properly. Most people don't lift properly. Most people don't program properly. There's nothing wrong with low reps. There's nothing wrong with 5, 6 reps. There's nothing wrong with 4 reps. There's nothing wrong with this type of training if you're programming it properly and you have good form. You drastically reduce your risk for injury. People get injured when they start slacking off or cutting corners or they do things improperly. So that's good. I mean, that's good news, man. That's good news. Clark, if I'm lean and in shape, should I take creatine? I think most people should, unless you have some specific medical condition. Creatine is great. Everyone should be taking creatine. Creatine's fantastic. I take 10 to 15 grams a day. 5 to 15, depends. I took 5. I had 5 this morning. I'll have more later. Creatine's great. Speaking of programming, Naman Chauhan, Papa Swole, how to stop overtraining by getting on a proper program, by programming properly. You don't want to undertrain and you don't want to overtrain. So overtraining oftentimes is more about under recovery. So how many sets should you be doing for a body part in a given workout? Well, that depends on your split. That depends on the intensity. That depends on how fast you recover, right? That depends on how frequently you're training that body part again. So if you're doing 6 sets for chest in a workout, I don't want to say that there's anything wrong with it, but you're not training chest again for another week. So your frequency is very, very low. If you're trying to do 6 sets for chest on Monday and you're trying to do 6 sets for chest on Thursday, you're not recovered. Not even close, unless you were just bullshitting around and barely doing anything on Monday. So either way, you're not going to get results. So that would be overtraining. But if you did chest every Monday, you did 6 sets, that's not overtraining. In a lot of ways, that's undertraining. You're not getting the frequency that you would benefit most from. If you're new to the gym, you'll make gains. The classic bro split, right? Just doing chest on Monday. You'll gain, but you'll start plateauing after a while. You can handle more frequency. It's not the volume, it's the frequency of the stimulus. So we always say this, if you are doing chest on Monday and you're doing 4 sets, you're better off doing 2 sets twice a week, Monday, Thursday, or Monday, Friday, or 1 set every other day and doing it a full body split or something like that. You're better off focusing on frequency and then adjusting the volume accordingly. So I'll say it again. Whatever body parts, especially the ones you're trying to bring up the most, figure out how frequently you can train those body parts and adjust the volume accordingly. Aim for frequency and find that sweet spot between frequency and volume. So if you're doing an upper-lower split and you're training upper body on Monday, lower body on Tuesday, rest on Wednesday, upper-lower on Thursday and Friday, understand that you have 72 hours between that Monday workout and the Thursday workout, okay? So how much volume with the given intensity, if you're training close to failure, how many sets can you do for chest where you can recover completely and see an increase and see a benefit and see an increase in strength, either with reps, weight, or both on Thursday? I'm not saying that every time you train on Monday and Thursday that you're going to see, even if you're doing it perfectly, it doesn't mean you're going to see those improvements every single workout, but you want to see it pretty consistently. If you're training, Monday, Thursday, and then Monday, Thursday, and you're not seeing any growth, chances are it's your intensity, it's your nutrition, and or it could be your volume, too much volume. So just make sure you're adjusting the volume and seeing what you can recover from. For me, if I'm doing a Monday, Thursday for upper body, I'm not doing more than 2 sets for chest. There's really no need for me to do 3 sets because I know I'm just going to eat more into my fatigue and it's going to negatively affect the next workout. I'll just do 2. Sometimes I'll do 1, but a lot of times I'll do 2. It depends. If it's a brand new exercise and it might be just like a unique stretch or something novel, then maybe I'll just do 1 all-out set just to compensate for that so I could train it again on Thursday. But if it's something that I've had in my programming for a while, I'll do 2 sets and then I'll recover and I can hit it hard again on Thursday. So remember, overtraining is a product. Overtraining is a product of programming. And if you have shitty programming, then you need to adjust your programming. So I want to get away from the, bro split's bad. Upper lower is good. There's really no bad or good. It just comes down to, do you understand what frequency and volume and intensity means? Do you understand what muscle growth comes from? Do you understand how to build muscle? And if you understand what the stimulus is and you understand how the body builds muscle, then you can adjust your programming accordingly. If you're under the impression that the more that you do, the bigger you'll get. If I do 10 sets, that's better than 8. Well, then by that logic, 12 sets is better. So then you end up doing 20 sets on Monday and you can't feel you're so sore you can't move your arms for 2 weeks. That's not what's building muscle. That's just causing a lot of fatigue and a lot of damage. You're better off creating the stimulus, letting your body know, hey, adapt to this. And then on Thursday again, hey, adapt to this again. And then a couple days later, adapt to this. You want that signal to be sent. That's what your body is going to react to and adapt to, not how much trauma you cause to your chest muscles. And I'm using chest as a general example because it's Monday. It's quote unquote International Chest Day and all that shit. All the women are like, I don't want to train my chest. Why is he always talking? Use this replace what I just said with glutes. John Papaswilio, let me bring this up on the screen. I notice my biceps are constantly sore all week since going heavy on them through maximum swole. I'm concerned it might be a warning for a potential tear to the tendon anchoring the bicep. Well, I mean, you're going to get sore. You're going to get sore. So remember, the muscle attaches to the tendon, which attaches it to the bone. So if you're training a muscle, and if you're doing, like, it's normal to feel it in the joint, in the sense like you're doing heavy tricep push downs and you're sore, like in the triceps insertion the next day. That's not, tendonitis, for example. I'm just using the triceps for an example because you're pulling on that tendon. The tendon is thick connective tissue that kind of intertwines with the muscle as it inserts onto the bone. So the muscle is contracting, the tendon is attached to the bone, pulling the bone, which is moving your arm and articulating the joint. So it's normal to get sore from the length of the muscle, even to the tendon. The thing is, you want to make sure if you have too much tension in the tendon and you're not prepared for that, because the tendon doesn't develop as fast as the muscle tissue does, just like the ligaments. Tendons and ligaments take longer to adapt. So if you're new to training, or you're pushing too hard, or if it's a new exercise, and I've done this, I've been training for 25 years, so I've done this. I'll do a new exercise, and and all of a sudden, like for a while, like you hurt your elbow because you just do too much. It's too much tension. It's too much load for that angle. The tendon hasn't had a chance to adapt to it, and you just kind of overdo it. And you get that inflammation. Then you have to ease off on that for a little bit. Constantly sore. I need to know more about your programming to really answer your question specifically, which is why I kind of went a little wider on that. How many sets are you doing? What's your split? What's going on? How are you training your biceps? What's your split? What's going on there? On TikTok, Shiroz. Bro, I have no clue about weights. Just started gym. How's the push-pull legs routine to start with? If you're just new to the gym, congratulations. I would do an upper-lower split to start with. I think that's better off than doing push-pull legs. You don't need a focused push day and a focused pull day if you're new to the gym. If you have no clue, you need to get on a good program. You shouldn't be going to the gym and just doing random stuff. So if you're interested, you can check out our website, swolenormousx.com, and the 90-day dash would be a great program to start with. It'll give you that great foundation that you can go into maximum swole afterwards. That would be my recommendation. Especially if you're saying, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. It's very important that you know what you're doing, because you could hurt yourself. Especially if you're new to the gym. It's a lot of, let's say, teenagers, or maybe like, 20s, you're going to the gym with your friends and you don't know what you're doing. So you're just tagging along, and they're not trainers. They don't really know what they're doing either. And then you just do their workout. And they're like, yeah, come train with us. And you do what they do, and you're you essentially get hurt. You just beat the shit up out of yourself because you're trying to do what they do. And you just get super, super sore, and then you never go back. So it's very important that you do it properly, proper form, proper periodization, proper progression, especially when you're new to the gym. Swole Sama says, that's what happened with my bicep tendon going around the shoulder. Muscle adapted faster than the tendon. Well, this is why when people take, if they're taking a lot of, anabolic steroids, and there's different types, of course, and I'm not an expert in anabolics. I don't take any, but some of you might have experience, or you know that. But certain ones, there's a lot of different compounds out there, and some of them really make the tendons much more brittle. So you've heard people, they take certain ones that might get them shredded. Their strength goes up a lot, but the tendons get very stiff. And a lot of people tear their pec, or they tear their bicep, or they do this because the muscle gets so strong so quick that actually can rip the tendon off the bone in some cases. So that's not a normal thing to happen for people that are natural, but it's more common for people that are taking certain types of anabolic compounds when they're training really heavy. So I'm not saying people can't have injuries, of course, but without proper progression, or like the form slips, or you're doing max sets, you're doing powerlifting, there could be some situations because you're loading the body so much. And if you're getting that close to your 1 rep max, you're just putting your body under extreme stress. Let's see, John, let's get into this. 2 seated bicep curls by 10 and preacher. Seated bicep curls 2 by 10 and preacher curls straight bar curls 2 by 10. I do 2 sets because I work them once a week. So what does this mean? I still don't know. You work them once a week, so you do 4 sets? How come you work them once a week? That would be my first thing. I don't know what your training split is still. Why are you training them once a week? Biceps, you should be trained twice a week for sure. I was training biceps every other day. Just do 1 all-out set. That might be why you're getting sore, because you're pushing yourself really hard and you're doing too much volume. So that would make sense. What's your training split? You're doing 4 sets? I did upper body yesterday. I did 2 sets of preacher curls. That's it. And understand, you don't have to do everything at once. So John's doing 2 seated bicep curls, 2 by 10. 2 seated bicep curls and preacher curl straight bar curls. It could be the straight bar. Maybe you want to do single arm. Maybe you're getting like maybe the supination was too much, or it's uncomfortable for your tendon, or you jumped into that without preparing it too much, because doing a straight bar can be a lot of supination if you're not trained for that. That's why most bars are slightly angled, because it's more ergonomic. It's not bad. It just depends on your mobility. I'm just looking at this a little bit more. So in other words, if you're doing seated bicep curls and preacher curls, doing 4 sets on one day, you're better off doing one day, doing an upper workout and doing 2 sets of seated bicep curls. Nothing wrong with that. And on your other upper day, doing the preacher curl. That's a good combination, because the bicep curls will get the tension at the top in the short, in the short position, and the preacher curl will load the lengthened position. So those are 2 good options. You can just do them on different days. So another misconception is that you have to do it all at one time. You don't have to do every exercise. So for example, if you're training, let's say your chest, and you want to do chest twice a week, you're going to do 2 sets on one day and 2 sets on another. You can do 1 pressing and then 1 fly on both days, but you could also just do your pressing on one day, and the next time you do your flies, you do 2 sets of flies, whether it's pec deck or something like that. So you don't have to do everything on every single day. Remember, it's still the same chest muscle, right? Still the same biceps. So doing them both on the same day, if you're doing 4 sets, the last 2 sets, you're just not getting the same stimulus as the first one, and especially the first 2. So do your 2 sets on one day. So if you do your 2 seated bicep curls on Monday, you're getting great stimulus. And then on Thursday or Friday, you're doing your straight bar curls. You'll be recovered and able to hit that at 100%. So because you're doing preacher curls after or something, you're more fatigued. So you're not getting the stimulus that you can if you do it on a separate day. Just my thoughts based on what you said. If you want to give me more details, I can follow up on that. All right. Any more questions? Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. John, did I get that for you, or is there something else you want to follow up with? I was putting other thoughts out there in case you had more information you wanted to give me. Did I get that right? Were you doing 4 sets on one day? Aaron, that sounds pretty good to me. Last chance for questions. Drop it in the comments down below. If you're watching on TikTok, you can catch the rest of the show on Rumble and YouTube at The Daily Swole. We'll bring that up on the bottom of the screen. The Daily Swole is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We had 2 Swolosophy episodes over the weekend. The Saturday and Sunday Swolosophy episodes were great. Please go and check them out. Very good information, good perspective. And if you follow the show, it should be required listening to go and check out the Swolosophy episodes, because it ties in everything that's in the zeitgeist for the podcast. So we talk about a lot of different topics. We go over a lot of things in the same way. But of course, every time you listen to the show, a lot of the topics, I mean, if you're a consistent listener, you understand. What are we talking about a lot? We're talking about programming. We're talking about nutrition. We're talking about a lot of the same questions, a lot of the same topics. But as we all learn and as we get older and as we get more experience, you come back and listen to the show, you're changing as you're listening to more information. So you might hear the same question you've heard 100 times, and then you hear it in a different way and you think about it. Oh, that really does apply to what I just did myself. So you're a different person. As you absorb information, you apply things, the quote unquote same old questions actually become new, because you're a new person. You're a different person. You have more acquired knowledge and more experience. So as you hear things that you've heard before, it's not the same thing, because you're different. You have more accumulated knowledge and more perspective. So the same reason why it's great to read books that you love, read them again, because you don't remember as much as you think, and you always get something new out of it. John says, no, that's great, Papa. It's 2 sets for each exercise. What you said makes sense. Didn't think of that. Thank you very much. Yeah, try that. Try that. I will tell you, John, I did 2 sets for biceps and I did 2 sets. So here's what I did yesterday. I'm going to try to remember off the top of my head. I did 2 sets for chest hammer, chest press. I did one. This is not including the preparation sets. 1 set all out for T-bar rows on that same T-bar machine. Then I did Kelso shrugs. So I only did 1 set for my upper back, but then I went into single arm lat pull downs. So I did 2 sets for back, 1 for upper, 1 for the single arm pull downs. So I did 2 for like upper back and traps, including the Kelso shrugs. And then I went into the single arm high row for my lat movement. Then I did preacher curl, 2 sets. Then I did single arm cable lateral raises, 2 sets each arm. And then I did single arm tricep extensions, 2 sets each arm. So I did 2 sets for biceps and I did 2 sets for triceps for each arm. And I will tell you, John, if I did 4 sets for triceps, if I did 4 sets for biceps, I'd be fucking sore. And I certainly wouldn't be training them because today I'm doing legs. Tomorrow I'm off. And then, what is that? Wednesday, I'd be starting upper body again. I would not be doing triceps and biceps on Wednesday. So if you're doing upper, lower, rest, repeat, or some people, if they start their things on Monday because of scheduling, they do upper, lower, rest on Wednesday, upper, lower, rest. You can also see, well, I'm taking 2 days off for the weekend because maybe your gym's closed or you're not going to work and you go to the gym by your workplace. So it just makes sense. You're not going to drive. Let's say you're half an hour away from work and your gym is by your work. You go to the gym and then you shower and go right to work. I'm not telling you to drive half an hour to your workplace gym on a Sunday or on a Saturday, whatever. So maybe you do an extra set on that Thursday or Friday workout because you're taking an extra day recovery, right? If it's muting, it's on your end. I would exit out and come back in. Our audio is totally fine. No one else is saying they're having any issues, Alex, so it's on your end. Unless other people are having audio, but I'm showing 100% on all my stuff. Nothing's muted. Does that make sense? So again, you can adjust your volume based on your frequency. So if you know, hey, let's say you have a family coming in out of town and you have some event and you know that on the weekend, let's say something's coming up and you know it's going to be 3 days of holy fucking mess, right? So maybe you do a full body workout or something the day before, do some yoga and then come back with a full body after. Like you can adjust your frequency or your split on the fly depending on your scheduling. You can work around it. In other words, as long as you understand the association between intensity, frequency, and volume, you can play around with it. And if you have an extra day of recovery, it's not like all my muscles disappearing. I usually do every 2 days and now I did 3 days. I'm going to be skinny. It's not going to be like that. You're going to be more recovered. You're going to feel great. So obviously on a larger scale, if you're always taking 3 or 4 days off, then yeah, you're not building as much muscle as you could. But once in a while, if you adjust, then you're going to be totally fine. You'd be totally fine. It must have been YouTube then. YouTube was glitching then. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go balls deep. Fam, if you're watching on TikTok, click the link in bio. We got 20% off all merch over at papaswolio.com. If you want to follow the podcast, there's also links over there on the merch site. If you don't want to just go to the Daily Swole on Rumble and YouTube. So come and check out the podcast, go to the website, pick up some merch, but then you could also see all the links for memberships in the menu on papaswolio.com. You can find all the links for the podcast and for memberships and all that. So come catch the rest of the show. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time. TikTok's really good for some questions, really good for question flow. Not good for saying retard, but I didn't say retard this time. So come on, that's a win. I did it. Fam, give me a pat on the back. I made it. I'm really proud of myself. I forgot about saying retard. Now I remember. How are we doing on YouTube? Audio better? Or just restart, whatever? Interesting. I'll be the first to be like, yeah, we're glitching out, but everything's stable over here, so sweet. Come on, YouTube, pick it up. All right, let's get into, let's pick a number. Let's see what we got here. We got 1, 2, or 3. I don't believe I have anything. Let's see. Oops. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! That's deep. All right. So I like this. I thought this is great. I think this is probably the issue with our entire society. So this is from 2016. It's a throwback headline that was reposted by Carnivore Aurelius. It says, men did greater things when it was harder to see boobs. Based.
Inconceivable!
Men, I love this. It's funny if you actually think about it. It's funny. Men did greater things when it was harder to see boobs. I remember when I was a youngin' and I wanted to see boobs. Guess what? I remember the jackpot one time. We were at a party. I forget how old I was. We'll just say 10 because I don't really remember. It was something like that. Someone's house, whatever. And I don't know, I was with another kid, I suppose. And I don't know if it's his family's house. It was like some sort of gathering or party. Maybe it was for a baseball team and it was a barbecue. And I don't know, we were downstairs in like the basement and it was like a storage basement. It was up in New England. So, basements, they're kind of like cold and damp, but it's more for storage, whatever. And I remember that he had like a stack of Playboy magazines, but it was like the old ones, right? The ones with Bush, the 80s. You had like, 80s or 90s Playboys or something, like a stack. I guess this guy had like a subscription or something. I don't know. And I remember it was like, boobies. It wasn't like hardcore. It was just Playboy or something like that. But I remember it was boobies. Boobies. And it's like it's like when you're let's see. So like I guess like in the 80s and 90s, when you're a young boy and you found boobies, and this is why all those movies in the 80s or 90s, American Pie, it's like, oh my God, boobs. Those were teenage movies when you're like, oh, and because the internet wasn't like developed the way it is now. There wasn't porn at every fucking turn. You had to find the boobies. You had to see a movie. It had to be like, what was it? Like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It was American Pie. It was all these like teenage quote classics where you had one actress that took her top off and you're like, and it's like, it burns into your mind and it becomes the boobie Bible. So everyone had those movies, or, it's always been throughout cinema. You'd have like, at least, in the 60s or 50s, it would be like a hair flip. And like, oh my God, she flipped her hair. It's so hot. Look, you could see her ankles. Look at those ankles. But it was like finding the Ark of the Covenant. You found the city of Atlantis. You found a stack of Playboys. It's like, what the fuck? And you take a couple and you like bury it by a tree in like a plastic bag, and you go out in the woods and you dig it up and you be like, hey, look at these boobies. We're going to the woods and we just look at boobies. Something like that. So men did greater things. I think this is really accurate. I really do. I really think this is accurate. Why are men successful? Men are driven to build, create, to innovate, to create wealth and value and be strong men and provide in order to essentially kind of like, flap your arms and just be like, look at me, choose me. I'm a good one. Men are flapping their wings and showing their colors. You ever see you see Animal Planet? this happens all the time in the yard. There's a lizard that comes out. There's a female lizard just kind of like laying, female lizard in the sun, eating some ants, like, I'm a sexy lizard. And this big fucking lizard comes out of the bushes like this and just goes like, they just come out and they do push-ups. They go, goom, 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 goom. They literally rep it out. The lizards actually do like push-ups. They bend and they go up. And Mama's Swole out there counting, like, look at him repping out. And he's like doing 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, blowing out his little like neck pouch and shit like that. Yeah, like, look at me. I'm fucking awesome. I'm fucking awesome. I'm fucking awesome. Look at these triceps. Boom. You want this? You want this lizard dick? Just like that. So they kind of come out and they parade a little bit. You ever see the little spiders in the jungle where they kind of, they like shake their little, you know, bright, vibrant blue little wing, you know, the little flaps to attract a female. Most of the time in nature, the males are the ones that have all the flowers and the colors because they're trying to, you know, attract a mate. So men do great things and then they get women. But now when, as a result of OnlyFans and feminism and all this kind of stuff, just, it's not as interesting. So I'm just saying now, think about it. With AI and stuff, you can create the woman and the person of your dreams and it looks pretty much like in 4K. Kids are going to be putting on these, you know, headsets and literally just getting lap dances from this ideal make-believe person that doesn't exist. Just saying, you have access to all these things. Like what do kids want today, right? What do young men want today? They don't need to like, I want to see boobs. It's like, you can see boobs everywhere. You look at any kind of celebrity, their tits are hanging out, you know, you end up seeing the cover of some, you know, garbage website and it shows Kanye West's wife or whatever fucking naked on the street. You just see boobs all the time. So we're not doing as great. I mean, I guess we are doing some great things. You know, it's all relative. So I don't think we're not doing great things now. The technology has gotten to the point where we're used to it, but you know, outer space, going to Mars and all the technology and the fact that I'm speaking into a microphone and all of you are watching me and it's streaming and I'm doing this from my office. It's just, there's a lot of quote unquote, I mean, it depends on what you consider great, but I think it's a funny thing to think about. And AI is getting really crazy. AI is getting crazy. Like, fuck it. It's getting fucking crazy. I don't know how much you guys have seen with it, but it is nuts. It is nuts. All right. So let's see. We pick some videos. Let's do a video and then we'll do some new releases. Let's go with the first person to drop in. The number was Positive Charisma, number 1. So let's do that. This is called Beef with Normalizing Bodies. Beef.
What's in the box?
I'm hungry. You said beef. I'm sure you'll probably watch this and not be hungry anymore, but
I have more beef with the normalizing normal bodies trend. Again, this is the trend where there's very thin people hunching over and being like, hey, I have fat rolls too.
If you're just listening, this is someone who is, let's just put it this way, probably in need of, you know what.
Let's break down their message for a second and like look at the inverse of it also. They're saying, I pose and style my body to fit in with our beauty standard, but sometimes I look fat, or like their version of fat, or fatter than normal for them. But what they're also showing is that their body that does sometimes have those features can also fit flawlessly into our beauty standard. But they're claiming to do this in the name of body positivity, right? But which image do they profit off of? The posed or the relaxed? The cinched or the hanging out? If you want to break beauty standards, then you need to fucking mean it. This is just for clout.
So I guess it's, I don't know, it's not good enough or whatever. Anyway, let's move on. I don't even know really what she's talking. Imagine worrying so much. Oh, is body positive dead yet? How is this not dead yet? Is it over? Can we be done with this body positive nonsense? All right. Sure, love your body, respect your body. But again, you can't tell me you love your body and stay fat. I love my body. Prove it. That's why I say prove it. If you love your body, how are you treating your body? These people just use words. You don't love yourself. You're saying you love yourself. You're trying to convince yourself, but no one else believes it because you're complaining about it online. You're trying to defend the language that you use about your laziness. So if you truly love yourself, tell me, if you truly love yourself, don't you take care of yourself? Let's say, and I'm not saying this is properly appropriated attention, but let's say you've always wanted a certain car or truck, and it's like you just got you've always wanted this, and you finally got, and you love your car, you really care about it. Don't you take care of it? Let's say those people that love their car, they're washing it, waxing it, rims, whatever it is that you like, usually take care of. So, in my opinion, if you love and respect and care for yourself, don't you take care of yourself? How can you say that you care about yourself if you don't take care of it, right? Wouldn't that be the result of, if you are with someone, husband, wife, boyfriend, if you like them and you care about them, don't you want the best for them? Don't you want to take care of them? I mean, some people don't. We know that. But if you truly, right, it's not just like, I love you, and then you abuse the other person. That's not love. So it's all in the actions. What do you do? What do you do? If you actually care about yourself, wouldn't you take care of yourself? Okie dokie. Okay? Okay. All right, let's do some releases to rinse that out. We'll do some more hot mess videos. First new release, fam, swolenormousx.com. If you want to join the fam, hey, don't waste any time. Head on over to the App Store or Google Play and download the Swolenormous app today. God, it rhymes so well. Get access to everything inside Swolenormous X and the all-new Swolenormous app. By the way, here are some of the features. It's not all the features, but this is our nice little mock-up. Obviously, on the right, you see the 7 Pillars Journal, which you can track everything and anything. It'll show your scheduled classes when you schedule workouts or recipes in that calendar. Create your own custom playlist. We got the community over there. We got the Telegram chat. You can stream it to your TV, download videos, and watch them in airplane mode if you're at work or you're traveling, you're camping, you're doing something, you're on a plane. You can get your meditation, listen to a masterclass, all that stuff if you download in advance. All that stuff, download it, check it out. swolenormousx.com to join the fam. Download the app, join us today, and we're going to have all these things loaded up shortly. So I'm announcing this, and then we're going to make it live after we announce it. So the first one, fam, I'll leave this up to you. Basil pesto. And
What the fuck is that?
all right. Okay. I don't choose all these recipes. I like them to surprise me, but is anyone excited about this? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. I'll leave that up for you. Most of you are kind of be like, I'm not eating it. But I mean, maybe you will, I suppose. It's all right. Not everything in here is for me. We got to put things out there for the people. Got to give you options. Hey, if you want to make that, here's a great way to make it. How about that? Okay. Everyone's like,
What's in the box?
even me. So that's cool. I don't mind. I don't mind crickets. I don't mind. I'm not excited about it. I'm not like, ooh, basil pesto. I'm like, okay. Karen likes it. Oh, this is for Karen. Aw, Karen.
Aww. Hi, puppy.
Enjoy. Karen, you get to enjoy your basil pesto this week. Good for you. Good for you, Karen. Enjoy. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, by the way. All right, next.
What's in the box?
Next one. A poke bowl. All right. Some people like that. Get some avocado on there. Get some salmon, some tuna. What is that? Is that cheese? Is that mango? What's that green stuff? Is that parsley or some shit? I don't know what that is, but it looks like protein to me. So remember, with all these recipes, you can also remove or add whatever you want. So these are just ideas. And of course, when we have thousands of recipes already, how do you add something new? I don't know, but the Swole team figures it out. So check it out. A poke bowl. All right. Okay. Now, for those of you that are frustrated and you're like, all right, you gave me fucking pesto and some kind of like vegan bowl. So Swole fan members, the diehards, are like, all right, we're 0 for 2. We're 0 for 2. And this is kind of like a running joke if you're new to the show. It's a running joke that the recipes are sometimes like, and I'm honest. We'll add stuff to the app. It's like, hey, I'm not going to eat it, but some of you might like to do it. But if you didn't like those, we're going to follow it up strong, fam. We got Mexican ground beef skillet. There we go.
Boom shakalaka!
You guys will like that. That's nice for a meal. This is like a nice family meal, right? Mexican ground beef skillet. Now, remember, of course, this is all teaching you how to cook. If you like certain things, you can add more. You can, oh, I like this recipe, but it has green peppers in it. It's like, take out the fucking green peppers. Like, you don't have to have all the ingredients in every last thing. So here's the beef. Here's the beef. Now, usually the Swole team knows that. We got to have at least one beef recipe. Sometimes we just have a triple beef, and it's awesome. But we mix it up. We mix it up. So Mexican ground beef skillet. What's in there? Minus the corn. I don't know if there's corn in here. Is that mango? I don't know what's going on with this. I don't know what's going on, but it says beef in the title. It says beef in the title, so it must be good. So let's just end it right. Let's just stop it right there. Let's stop it right there. Let's stop while we're ahead. Let's do the featured classes, and then we will... Hold on a second. All right, actually, we'll do another video first, and then we'll get into those featured classes. So let's see here. Let's do this one. This one's called... Get length here. All right, let's do this one. This one's called Diet Culture. Diet culture.
What's in the box?
Diet culture is a tool to keep you obsessed with thinness so that you are frail and sick and tired and you cannot fight back. And when you realize that, it is no surprise that the Ozempic craze and thin is in started coming back in the last 2 years when during the lockdowns, everyone was all about body positivity and body neutrality. And the powers that be decided, no, we gotta rein that back in. We cannot be our best organized collective when we are constantly in a calorie deficit because your brain does not function properly when you are in a long-term calorie deficit. You cannot fight the patriarchy if you are not eating enough.
Shut up, bitch!
Yikes. Yikes. Okay. So we got some more releases. Let's get into some featured classes. This week in the Swole Armor Chat. First one we got this week is Express Jungle Flow with Rachel.
Because of the implication.
Great class. Go and enjoy Express class. So it's not too long, about probably 30 minutes or so. I forget how long this class is, but check it out. Featured yoga class. Remember, we have hundreds of yoga classes. So every week, if you go to the homepage in the app, we have certain ones that we just highlight every week. So featured class is not a new class in X, but it's a featured class. And remember, if you want to find a class quicker, and there's a class that you use often, make a playlist. That way you don't have to look for it. So this is the best part about the app. There might be a few classes or meditation sessions or certain programming that you're currently using. Make a playlist. You open the app, go to playlist, boom, it's right there. You don't have to go searching for it and looking for it because obviously the search function is fantastic, but we have so many classes. So you don't want to be going and hunting these down every time. So if there's something that you know that you like, your favorite yoga classes of all time, you try one, oh, I love it. Add it to your favorites. Add it to a custom playlist, and you can have access to it really quick. We also have featured Swollen 7, kettlebell round 7.
Smooth. Very, very smooth stuff. Very classy. I'm learning a lot from you right now, dude.
With your boy Papa Swolio. That's me. Go and check it out. Kettlebell round 7. And we also have the feature workout this week is legs alpha. So go and check that out. It's on your app homepage. Check it out. Nice features for this week. All right. We also have a brand new yoga class. So let's get that out there now. And then we'll do the last video. Maybe we'll do a throwback. So I'm waiting on one more thumbnail, one more announcement. So we'll do some other stuff in the meantime, just because I want to make the proper announcements and get everyone hyped up and excited for some of these new releases, because we got some great stuff this week. You're going to love the merch, and you're going to love this yoga class. So before we get into it, let's have a nice, dramatic pause. Now available. Brand new. Look at this.
What's in the box?
Look at this. I love this thumbnail. Aww. It's Alex and her puppers wind down yin yoga express class. So now available. You can check that out in the app. And of course, this will be available right after we sign off here. So wind down yin. That is going to be a great class. If you've never tried yin yoga, this is a great class to start with. If you're trying to figure out an evening routine, this is a great class to start and try. If you want to try doing yoga before bed, it's a great way to shut down before sleep. Maybe do the yoga, then you go shower, blah, blah, blah. Start your evening routine off right. Wind down yin is great. And of course, having the puppers in there is even more awesome. I love that thumbnail. It's so good. It's so good. The dog's just like, yeah, I'm here, just chilling. And if you have dogs, especially a big dog, even small dogs will climb on your back, but if you have a dog, they're just going to be all over you. Whenever you do yoga, dogs they can't stay away from you. It's because you're vulnerable, right? Your head's down or your back is turned, so they're always all over your shit. That's a golden doodle, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So go and check out that class. I don't know how much the dog is involved in this whole class, but I'm assuming the dog is all up in the video the whole time because it's right there in the thumbnail. So there you go. Wind down yin yoga with Alex express class. Probably one you can automatically add to like an evening yoga playlist. That's a great thing you can do too. Create an evening yoga playlist and then add all the great ones that you like before bed. And then when you want to do a yoga before bed, boom, you just go to your evening yoga playlist and you have it right there. All right, great. Let's do another video. This one. Oof, that was it? That was it? Ugh, gross. Let's do this one. This one's called Navigating Fatness. Navigating Fatness.
What's in the box?
If you're fat, how do you navigate it? How do you guys navigate your fatness? How do you navigate? How do you navigate? Do you use GPS? Do you use Google Maps? You use MapQuest? Any of you use MapQuest for your fatness? How do you navigate it? If you're fat, how do you navigate your fatness? Do you just look at the stars? Do you have a compass to navigate your fatness? I don't know. Maybe we're going to find out. Let's check it out.
Something that was not talked about in grad school to become a therapist was fat phobia. Like, genuinely.
I'm going to pause you right there. If you're just listening, we have the Michelin Man, I guess, is taking a break. Maybe didn't get his contract renewed. So I guess this person's a therapist. So there's your first warning sign. And this is not an insult, but my God, if you're going to someone to improve or to help you deal with your problems and they don't have their life together, that's probably a first warning sign that that's probably not the person you should be referring to for information.
Something that was not talked about in grad school to become a therapist was fat phobia. Like,
something that was not talked about in grad school to become a therapist was a stupid, non-existent topic that was designed by Marxists in order to justify terrible behaviors. Well, that makes sense.
Genuinely, I don't remember that being talked about. If anything, I remember at least one in particular of my professors being pretty fat phobic herself, which is harmful to both clinicians who are in larger bodies and also clients accessing care. My friend and colleague Macy is facilitating a presentation called Expanding Care, Navigating Fatness and Anti-Fat Bias in the therapy room in May, on May 22nd. It's virtual. You can attend from anywhere. There's student pricing. And it's all about exploring like anti-fat bias, intersectionality, ethical responsibilities to clients, and like how weight stigma and systemic oppression impacts clients. This is a topic that is like not talked about that often. I haven't seen another training around this. And so one, I'm excited to attend it. Two, I like Macy is incredible. And I think she is providing knowledge and information and so much wisdom about something that is genuinely kind of taboo to talk about and not talked about that often. So I would love to see you there.
Okay. So I think we're on the right track with your, what should I say? Your school not covering that stupid stuff, which I'm surprised. Now, if you actually guys, if you look through some of these curriculum, that would be a fun thing to do. Well, it wouldn't be fun to be an eye opener, but if we looked at some of these curriculums, maybe we should do that one day. Go to some of these universities and go through the curriculum and see what the courses are. I mean, it's got to be insane. It's got to be insane what they cover. I guarantee in a lot of these places, fat phobia or like, I don't know. I bet you it's titled that same Fearing the Black Body. I bet you have a lot of courses that are just titled the same thing as the book, like Analyzing Fat Phobia in blah, 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 and Western Civilization or some shit like that. And people are paying 10 grand a semester for this stupid shit. All right. So let's get into, wow, mind-blowing. Fam, what do we want first? I think we know. We do merch last. All right. We do merch last. So we got the thumbnail. We're ready to go. We are ready to go. Pitman says, wonderful, more made up crap. This whole idea of being in a fat or thin body is the most insane thing. Stop excusing your fat ass habits. It's your fault, not everyone else's. Shut the F up. I agree. LET says Cal State had half their medical students fail basic exams after they opened their DEI program. Was she part of that? Annie says a good therapist doesn't project their own issues onto their clients. Agreed. And the key term is a good therapist. So we know, obviously, if you go to a therapist and the therapist is morbidly obese, it's like they don't have their life together. They don't have their shit in order. What advice are you getting? You're paying to commiserate with someone. It's like you're better off meditating, exercising, go getting some sun, and just being with yourself. Get off your phone, go for a walk, and just deal with your shit. Unpack your stuff. I'm not saying therapy is bad or you can't get benefits from it, but make sure you find there's a big difference. Look, it's like personal training. It's like medical, right? So doctors. Are there some doctors that know about nutrition? Are there some MDs that know about nutrition, that are talking about proper health habits, that are open-minded? Sure, a small percentage. Are there quality personal trainers out there? Yes, there are. Are there garbage ones? Absolutely, overwhelmingly. Are there therapists that are gearing their practice towards continuing you coming in over and over again, never really solving your problems because they're not getting paid? Yes. Are there some therapists that really want you to handle your stuff, unpack, and be on your own, and they'll stop therapy once you're ready to, like, they'll help you fix your problems, and then it's over, and then you go on with your life, and their success is not you continuing to pay them for 20 years. It's for you to deal with the issue, and then boom, thank you for, that's a good therapist, right? Trying to help you navigate these things, not play the victim and perpetually get a subscription off your sessions, right? So make sure, and Ellie says, don't listen to anyone who doesn't practice what they preach. Yeah, and, I had a popular video back in the day, like 2016 times, where it's like, I don't practice what I preach what I practice. So this is everything that I talk about is stuff that I do. So yeah, do both. You need to practice what you're talking about, but I'm just sharing what I do. And I'm sharing my journey and what I change and what I tweak and the information and just compile it over time. And my opinions have changed over the years on certain things. And what I do now isn't the same exact stuff that I did 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because guess what? I learn things and I adjust and I try different things and I tweak. And if you're not, I won't say a different person, but if you're not acquiring knowledge and experience and adjusting and tweaking, then you're not developing as an individual. You should always look back on previous iterations and be like, wow, that I've made a lot of progress, or I look completely different, not necessarily physically, but my outlook, my approach, what I do is much more improved because I've learned things and I've applied that knowledge and built different habits and this, that, and the other. Okay, let's get into some releases that all y'all are super excited about. Who's ready for another release? I need to hear it in the comments. I need those comments to be so explosive that I can hear it. I want to feel you through the interwebs. Who's ready for a new release in Swolenormous X? Come on.
What's in the box?
Who's ready? Who's ready for a new masterclass? Ooh,
Hi, puppy.
Very excited.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? I think you are. All right, here we go. New masterclass. Just show the damn thing. All right, I'll show it. Let me take. Oh, you don't want to see that. You want to see the masterclass. Gotcha. All right, let's get into it.
Because
Here we go. In 3, 2, schwam. We got a brand new masterclass on the calves, focusing on the stretch. Let's fucking go.
Hadouken! Hadouken! Wait, your biggest stickers? Here's a this.
Brand new masterclass will be available shortly in the app. All the new releases will be populating shortly. If you don't see them at the end of the stream, it'll be up probably within half an hour. So it'll be up there. Brand new masterclass. We've talked about this many times. There's some other masterclasses and stuff when we talk about the calves in Swolenormous X already, but adding a lot more educational content to break down different aspects of different exercises, of different techniques, of different things. So keep an eye out for all the new masterclass. Of course, we drop new content every week and we're always adding to the archive. So this is going to be a good one. All right, calves masterclass, focusing on the stretch, how to get the most out of your calf training. And I explain in detail in the masterclass that most of you, if not all of you, will not have access to this specific machine because it's rare, but this goes for any straight leg calf movement. So whether you're doing on a leg press, on a standing calf raise machine, whether you're doing a single leg holding a dumbbell in your home gym on your squat rack, it's a straight leg calf raise. This applies to all of that. This applies to all the calf training. So check it out and hopefully it brings you some great insights. Enjoy. Jump rope has been blasting my calves. It will. You do need this class because jump rope doesn't get you the stretch. And you want to focus on the stretch to fully develop your calves. So add this, Matt. Add this to your calf training, and I think you'll be very pleased. All right, who's ready for new merch? I want to see it in the comments. I want to hear it. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go.
I am the danger.
Now, this is a great... I grew up with this. I grew up with this show. Not really. Maybe I did. I guess this is kind of like my sister, me. Like this was 80s and 90s. So this was, I forget when it started, but this is a great show. This is the original show, by the way. This is the original design. But then they changed it because they didn't want kids getting too swole. So that was the problem. So ironically enough, this design was the original. This was the original name for the show, but then they changed it just to fit the culture a little bit more. They really wanted to make this show, but then, people weren't really ready for it. Parents were like, we don't want to get our kids getting too jacked. Maybe we'll pull back on this. We'll adjust it. So this is the original design, and most people don't know that. You can look it up. It's just science. And let's get into these.
Attacks on me, quite frankly, are attacks on science.
Straight to jail. This is the original design, the original show that never was. My Swole Pony. So here's what happens. Here's what happened. The producers, the investor, they just didn't think that, and parents, they were like, I don't know if Swole, look, kids are small. They shouldn't be lifting that young, this, that, and the other. So they went with My Little Pony, which was a success. Let's just be honest. I mean, people know it. A lot of you, might have grown up with it, or your kids did, but it's like, that was great. It was successful. It was popular, but this was the original. So the original was My Swole Pony, but then they kind of like neutered it down. So let's zoom in. There you go. My Swole Pony. There you go. Great design. Great on the flag. Look at that. It's awesome. So anyway, this was the original design. I really think, honestly, I think it would have been much more popular if they went with the original My Swole Pony instead of censoring it. But of course, when you want to make ridiculous gains, that's what we do here. We like to make sick gains, and so do our ponies. So My Swole Pony, brand new design. I think this is one of those all-time designs. I know when I get mine in, I think it's going to be a huge success. Really excited. It's a great kid's shirt too, My Swole Pony. It's totally not offensive. And look at that one. Which one do you think is the most jacked? I'm not sure which one I like the most. I like the hair. I like the hair on the pink one on the right. Look at the one in the front. The blue one. Absolutely yoked. What a great design. What a great design. I love it. 20% off everything. papaswolio.com. Check it out. Aaron says when your pony drinks the chemicals in the same water that turn the freaking frogs.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's awesome design. I love it. Fucking awesome. So brand new over there at papaswolio.com. Fam, thanks for being here. Let's give away today's Swole card. We got a Swole Fam Swole card, an all-time Swole card for one of you beaches. Let's raffle that motherfucker off. Cerny says, too girly looking for me. Bring back the old school cartoon shit. What is that, Steamboat Mickey? Cerny wants like a Felix the Cat shirt. Swole Fam. Who we got today? Today it is Pam S. Pam 15. Congratulations. Fantastic. Congratulations, Pam. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 3258 in the subject. Your mailing address in the body of the email. That's fantastic. Aww. Good for you. We got Felix the Cat. Fam, some of you act like when we make a release, like we're not doing everything. There's no shortage. There's no shortage of designs. Trust me. Got like every week, it's like, which one's next week? We got like 5 in the works all the time and like a list of 50 fucking designs. So it just takes time. There's other ones coming. And that's why every week is almost not enough for merch. We're always getting new stuff. So don't you worry about that. Not to mention, if you listen over the weekends, I've been saying there's going to be a big announcement coming soon. There's some new stuff coming that I'm really excited for. So stay tuned. And it's not just merch. So there's a lot more coming to the Swole Fam and to papaswolio.com. So stay tuned for that. Pam, congratulations. Steam Swole Mickey for Cerny. Maybe we'll do like a Laurel and Hardy shirt or something like that for you. Or Honeymooners, right? To the gym, Alice. Bang, zoom. Maybe something like that. Very niche audience, but maybe something like that Cerny would like. So hashtag Swole Fam. Congratulations, Pam. Thanks for being here. And everyone, go to the fucking gym. Go and enjoy all the new releases in the Swolenormous app. Most of them should be up or will be getting up shortly. We're just updating the app right now. That way you have access to that. And any questions, concerns, you can call into the show, askpapaswolio.com. You can send us an email to support@swolenormous.com if you have any questions. Go make some sick gains. Go check out that new masterclass. Good luck with all those chodes in your life. Focus on your community. And in closing, if you haven't listened to the weekend episodes, the Saturday and Sunday Swolosophy, make sure you go and check it out. Go check it out. I think you'll get a lot of value from these weekend's episodes, and especially Saturdays was really good too. So make sure you go and check that out. And we'll see you tomorrow for 3259. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy, Papa Swolio.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now they king left and they so mad, it's like
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
that's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you made. That's a bed that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, yeah. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. Off topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons.